Infinitely Lily, channeling angels. This is going to be a bit of a part 2, but don't run away. I think this will also be its own standalone reading. My video from yesterday just cut out a little early, so I have this unfinished thread of energy that I need to continue unraveling. So Spirit wants me to start by saying, every time I say that, Spirit just jumps in and they have all these messages. They're saying hello to everybody watching. But that I have been going through my own shadow work journey for the last 10 years, following a really massive spiritual awakening, nearly 10 years, I guess. And because of that, I've gotten really good at reading energy, feeling, sensing energy. All of my clairs help me to see, hear, smell, taste, feel energy threads and consciously follow them in the mental, physical, emotional, and energetic realm, and balance those energies, and then translate it and figure out what is out of balance, out of the 5 elements, as well as the masculine, feminine energy, so that I can create harmony in that one vibration, that one frequency. It's kind of like fine-tuning a guitar inside my body, and just picking a thread until it vibrates at the right pitch, that it is so transcendent that it nearly doesn't make noise. It just makes the most solid bass sound. And I have done that with nearly all hundreds of thousands of energy lines in my body, and I can tell when one is out of tune, and then I can follow that back into my ancestral line or into the cord that is attached to it, to the other person or situation, and figure out why it's knotted up, what's out of balance, why it's not in harmony, and how to get it back there. So that's really the focus for me for this channel, is focusing on one specific thread of energy and giving you the whole equation. And in my head, it is like a mathematical equation. My whole life since I was born, I knew I had this something to do with, my purpose had to do with balance. Everything in my life had to be in 2s, and math was this thing for me that was so relieving. Every time I solved an equation, something inside of me shifted, and I could feel it. I've had lots of things that have helped me to learn how to balance energy in my life. It's like moving my body around when I slept as a kid, trying to move the labyrinth of energy out my body. If that resonates with someone, that's a strange story and just feel like telling. It's kind of like a marble in one of those games where it's a maze and you have to turn it, and then the marble would fall out the bottom. It's the closest thing I can think of right now. It's like knowing how to move your body in specific ways to move energy, to release energy. If there's a kink or a block, sometimes you do need to kind of shift around in certain ways and certain frequencies and certain emotional tones to get that energy moving. So I'm just feeling guided to say all this. So like Tai Chi is amazing for this, or Qigong. I actually don't even know if that's how you say it, but I've always just said it in my head. I've never said it out loud before, but Qigong. It's in Chinese. It's kind of like fluid yoga, and it's so connected to me. I can't do yoga anymore. My body doesn't get happy because it's too forced. I think we need fluid motion. Intuitive fluid motion, especially if you're in the stages of embodiment from a spiritual awakening. where you're working with the nervous system and recalibrating it. I really think our bodies are so sensitive to movement, and I really am very sensitive to how my body feels, so I can't force it to do something that doesn't feel right in that moment. Anyway, that being said, the energy thread that I was working on last video was to do with those drawn here, was to do with forcing a timeline or holding on to a timeline that had like a 1% probability of occurring. Spirit has shown me the most beautiful analogy with this, that life is like a river. So you can think of a stream, a river, a raging river, depending on your energy field and how much light you emit. So how many strings of energy are in harmony, the bigger the river. The bigger the river, the more options you have. The more options you have, the more freedom you have to get to where you want to go without needing to go through a labyrinth, without needing to be super hyper vigilant about your choices, because you know you're in the right direction. And that river, even if you're on one strand of energy, the greater body of it is going to take you there. And all the threads of energy are generally heading in the same direction. If you're on that path and you're harnessing that higher frequency and you're getting into that higher vibrational state, the more the path stays together. If you're a bit still fragmented, still in that 3D mental energy with limitation and living in a lot of fear, then that is more broken up, and it will have Y's in it, it'll have, dead ends in it, it will have, like a 5-way path or a crossroads, which is totally okay. That's something that happens, as we're building our path. But when you get to a Y or a crossroads, instead of seeing it as two different options, this is what I had to do at the beginning of my journey, is notice that there's a path in the middle. It's just not forged yet. And if you're drawn to this video, Spirit is here and there's a huge team, so I'm getting super goosebumps and this extremely beautiful energy coming in right now, saying that you are here to forge a new path. Your path doesn't exist yet, so you can't use a template of someone who came before you. You can't base it off of your family line. You can't base it off of your partner's family line. You can't base it off of what you see somebody else doing in general. A role model situation doesn't really exist in the frequency that you're carrying, because you are the role model. You are the forager. You are the way shower. And when you get to a dead end or a split in the road, when there's a split in the road, to me, it's an indication of black and white thinking. It means that your brain has split your choices into two options, when that is absolutely never true. Between black and white, there's every color of the rainbow. So if you ever have a black and white thinking, there's no gray in between. Gray is the illusion that you only have two options. Between black and white, you can awaken every color of the rainbow, but you have to split through that blockage. And this is where people get stuck, because this is so deep and I don't even know if anyone's going to be able to grab this, but we get stuck in these thought forms, and these thought forms shape our reality, and we live in them for so long, or we grew up in them and we've seen them from our parents, that we do not know they exist. But they are essentially a bubble around our energy field that distort reality. The more bubbles you have, the more distorted your reality is, the more layers, more lenses that you have to look through to see reality. So reality becomes more and more distorted. Okay, so the specific energy that I'm talking about right now, because I just have to say it, is right here. So it's on the right front temple of the brain. So if you can feel this, I'm just going to pull it. See if you can feel that thread of energy. So we all have these threads of energy inside our bodies, right? All the same, but depending if yours is in harmony or not, it's going to stand out. So if you can feel this right now, that's a sign that you're here for a great reason, and also that this is out of balance. Okay, so Spirit's like ringing this little bell right now. Okay, so I just felt like I should cut that, so I just cut the little cord there, but let's see what it does. Okay, so there's definitely that's intense. Okay, that's my first time doing that, obviously on camera with a collective potentially watching this, so maybe it's not that many right now, but who knows, in the future maybe there's quite a few people watching this video, or at least connecting to the energy of this video. And I just felt that, so I just have to let this play out for a moment. So if you can feel that, just see how powerful that is. And the more connected, so I've gotten down to, I think, like my last few layers, I would say, and I'm pretty much almost in harmony in my body. So when I touch energy, it is so physical, it is so visceral, that it is like potent. It's like instant, you know, it's happening in this moment at this exact time, and it creates instant change, which has been extremely beautiful to experience. It is a little uncomfortable saying that out loud because of how it sounds, so I'm not sure if I'll say that again, but so there's a lot of red energy coming through here, and red is obviously root chakra, and that's a sign of survival mode. But generally, you know, or when we do get black and white thinking, it's because we went out of survival mode. So, you know, when you're scared or worried, you know, worry is more like stomach energy, so that's the solar plexus. And then, you know, if it gets more intense, it could get orange, and then if it gets really scared, then, or from worried to scared, it turns red. You know, that's more survival. But if it goes beyond red, you know, it can go brown. But generally, once it gets to brown, it goes to black, because it's become feeling too much. Feeling becomes the absence of feeling, so that's when it comes black. So that's when it becomes fear in the way that it comes paralyzed. When fear is so grand that it paralyzes you, you turn into black and white thinking, because it literally collapses the energy between the chakra. So that energy line has no access to the truth. It'll flip-flop from between two extremes. So if that energy in your root chakra is blocked, and this could happen in any of the energy cords, like block off the whole root chakra, takes a lot of energy cords being blocked. But, you know, one cord can be blocked in that area. Energy lines. Cords sounds more temporary. And then it becomes, you bounce between outside your body, so too high, too low, too high, too low. So too much white light. We don't want to have white light here in this life. We don't ever, you know, like religion, it really sticks with white light, you know, white light, white. If you have white light, you have, so, you know, if you think about physically, or like what physics would say about white light, is the, you know, it has every color in it, but it needs something to bounce off of to see it. So that is exactly the same in physical reality. White light is the absence of physical reality. So it means the absence of grounding, the absence of embodiment. We are not here to be white. If you are seeking white, you are no further closer to figuring it out than if you are seeking black. So if you are too spiritual, whichever, like in spiritual ego, coming from fear, you know, you're in your head, you forgot how to think for yourself, so you're just being a martyr, you're doing what you think you should do rather than how you feel, guided by wants to, and as it sees is best for it, no matter what anyone said is right or wrong. And I think that's the biggest message here with this energy here, because I just felt it lighten up. So I feel this white in our heart chakra. So white in the body is totally fine. You're not seeking white. White will occur when you are in color, okay? So when you are every color of the rainbow, you're going to shine white, okay? But if you're seeking white, you're removing the light, removing the color that creates the white. So I don't even feel like I need to go into the opposite of the white would be the dark. So, you know, if the presence of ego, the absence of ego, those are both equally black and white thinking. In between that is our authentic self, and it's gigantic. In the beginning, you might have only a thread of authentic energy to choose from. You grab onto that thread, you balance it, another thread comes available, another thread comes available, and you just slowly stack up your threads until the gap between black and white is gigantic, and you have a whole river to move through, and it just flows so easy, and you're not worried about your choices, you're not worried about life, because you got the river protecting you. The current is strong, and it is pushing you in a great direction, further and further and further into an abundant future, into the most frivolous, spirit wants to say, future of yeah, I don't know if frivolous is the right word there, but it vibrates, so I'm just gonna say it. It feels good, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, wow, that's good. That's the message here. Kind of plays off last. It does play off last message, in that this takes. So we were talking about last message that you're trying to force the 1% chance that to make this timeline work. So you're holding on to perhaps a relationship or a career, forcing this dead end. You know, I said the end games reference, where there was like a 1%, one timeline out of a million that actually worked. And when I cut off the video, Spirit had more to say, but what it was is that, you know, in the end games, you know, like the Avengers Endgames movie, I guess, many of you probably don't even know, but, or don't know. Don't blame me, I have young children, boys, so that's why I know. So Doctor Strange checks all the timelines. There's only one timeline for them to beat the bad guys or whatever. And what ends up happening out of a million, he checked. And what ends up happening is they lose the first time, and then they have to go like back in time to fix it. So that message came up from these two, and I know I said this Knight of Wands, but you know, close enough. Page of Wands here, and the Ten of Pentacles, is that yeah, this kind of this magical miracle thing. So it's like you trying to force anything is a sign that you are branching out. Like instead of the why, you're going through, you know, you're going in between the black and white of the fork in the road. You're kind of like trying to go off on a tangent that's not connected to the river, like a little tiny stream, and it's going to go all by itself and dry out. So it's like, okay, you're thinking that's the path. Okay, so this is it. Oh, this is such intense energy. Okay. My heart, holy man. Okay, I just got like stabbed in the heart with a good energy of like just power. If you're feeling that, you know, this is for you. Maybe it's like Hulk. Just kidding. No. Whew. Okay. Okay, it's gonna take a second there. It's like emotional too. Holy man. So like Spirit's like crying right now. Okay. Yeah, and they're saying this like most beautiful little speech right now. I'll try to translate. Like, you are meant off in the wrong direction. But instead, notice what is holding you back and what is causing you to feel the need to go backwards when the path is needed to be forged ahead. Okay, so yeah, that's almost it. Like you're like swimming backwards up the stream. You've hit this fork in the road, you felt the block, and now you're swimming backwards. With this work situation or relationship or yeah, it is one of those. Because you're thinking that's my only option. I gotta go back, get what I lost, and bring it back before I go forward. Okay, so we're getting really deep here. Like so deep that... Okay, there's so much emotional energy coming through. Like my inner child is just bawling right now. So, yeah, there's like this beautiful angelic energy coming through, and it's just so painfully beautiful, saying like, you do not need to go back. You do not need to struggle, is what they're saying in the most so glorious way. Got Backstreet Boys on. That's funny. Yeah, this song is like playing into the reading. It's like you want it that way. Okay, so this is this answered the question that I was asking. So you are trying to go back up the river because something got left up the river that you want to desperately come with you on your beautiful river that you've built. And this is the desperate song of Backstreet Boys, I Want It That Way. And your heart is broken into a million pieces that the person or thing is not coming with you down your river of abundance. And there's nothing else to say about that other than that grief is absolutely valid. And there's nothing that you need to change about that other than to accept it. To see that, yeah, that is soul-crushing grief. To realize that you have essentially been swept away by your own power and inner growth, away from things that felt comfortable or real or important or necessary or needed. You are in the in-between stages, I would say. And I've heard a lot of this talking about this, so this definitely could be a very prominent collective experience where you are still remembering very clearly what you just let go of upstream, but yet you haven't fully moved into your ocean that the river is taking you to. Distance makes the heart, it's like, yeah, the further away that you get from this old scenario, the more relief you'll feel because you see where you're headed. So you have been trusting the flow and then resisting the flow, I'm saying. You trust the flow, trust the flow, trust the flow, and then you get a little tired or a little dysregulated or a little disheveled, and you just kind of turn around and be like, okay, never mind, maybe I need to go back, maybe this is the wrong choice, maybe this is too strong, too much, too big, too fast, too new, and you start climbing on rocks trying to get back, or hanging on the bottom and trying to climb your way back up the river. Spirit's like, change is scary, change is hard, change is change, it's different, it's powerful, but trust the flow, trust the flow, trust the flow. Yeah, this is definitely this Page of Wands energy. So Page of Wands and the Ten of Pentacles is, you know, the original reading too said that. It's like, if you can let go of that thing you're trying to hold on to from the past and let the river push you, you're going to be very, very happy. Not saying that you aren't going to feel some hard feelings for a while. That is part of life. Do not try to outrun that. Okay? Stay in it. Feel it. Release it. Don't release it. That's not the right word, because I think that word gets really misused. Just process it. Feel it. And then allow yourself to surrender to the flow of the river. I don't like to tell people what to do with their emotions, because I feel like that gets really spiritual ego-y, and it makes people like think about their feelings rather than acknowledge them. So what Spirit is actually like saying, like from before, is that this is extremely hard to let go of. Of course you're going to miss them. Of course you're going to miss that. Of course it's going to hurt. But trust us, it's going to be worth it. Okay, that's the beautiful energy here, and I feel that cord just shimmering right now. So we've done our job. And it's orange, so that's beautiful. It means it's already highlighted from red to orange. And the more frequency, more in closer to its homeostasis, its 0 point, its neutral zone that it gets, the more distinct it becomes. The highest frequency it will become is gold. Green is also great, but there's green and there's the green, and then behind green, it's almost like it surrounds it, is gold, and that's what I see that energy's moving towards. So this is going to help somebody. You can feel it. Let go of a relationship that they've been holding on to. So if you've been in a twin flame, or you think it's a twin flame, or you've been worried if it is or isn't a twin flame, and you've been in struggle, this is what we talked about the last reading a bit, or a career where you're trying to hold on to it, maybe the direction of the career, the type of career, something like that. This is the world, universe, conspiringly loudly saying, let go and let yourself be carried to the new place. It is going to be worth it. And they show me the vastness where you've come from is a narrow river where you let go of that thing, and you've created some space between it, and you're worried that maybe it was the wrong thing and to do, and every now and then you try to climb back up the river, and Spirit's like, just let yourself go. And you can feel the river expanding, Spirit's showing me. You can feel the expansion, but you're not sure, like, oh, maybe they were supposed to come with me, like maybe I should go back and get them, like maybe they are coming with me, maybe they're grudging down the stream, and maybe, me letting go is going to help them meet me, which is true. That could happen. That's 1% possibility. But let go, let the river guide you. Spirit's saying, once you see what's in store for you, you're probably not going to miss what you let go of or left behind. That's brutal honesty, and you could tell they have a hard time saying that because, how potently emotional that is. Okay, that energy's completely gone out of my forehead now. So this. Once you arrive once you see how big your river gets and how vast, like it's an ocean, you know, right now your thought is, will they ever come back? Or will, you know, that career ever come back? You know, will I stay in that profession, that line of work? You know, like if letting it go, will it come back? Right now that question seems relevant because you're still close to what you left behind, but soon that question won't matter. As crazy as that might sound, if you're with someone or in a career that's been lifelong, that will make sense. You know, you will see that it was a limiting thought that will no longer have any stance or ground in your reality. Eventually you will realize it wasn't. It was just a fear of change. Thank you so much, angels. Thank you so much for tuning in here. Please like and subscribe if you if this helped you in any way. If you could share it with somebody to spread my channel, because I'm just kind of starting out. I've been on and off for a few years, but I'm finally feeling like I'm ready to do this. And I'm going to do it in this unorthodox way of me like just looking like this in my car driving. So that is when I do my best work, really, because I'm not so focused that I can still just flow, and I don't have to be stuck to a desk or something, and I never get time to do that. So I just never put aside the time to do that. I just don't want to. I like this. So free fluid spirit, bring it, you know, awaken that, remember that there's somebody here that remembers, you know, that light that you had as a child, you know, how you just did as you were meant to, felt guided to. It just was so natural to you, all the elements together in harmony, moving you like an orchestra. That is you, and I see you dancing. So thank you so much, and we will see you soon.